Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Average Joe Dividends YouTube channel. If you've been following this journey, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe so that you do not miss future videos. Also, please click the like button to help grow this channel and get the word out on dividend, growth, investing, getting paid just for owning stocks. This is what dividend investing is all about. My main objective is to show a replicable way of building an ever-growing and ever reliable income stream, one that does not have to rely on the volatility of the stock market. You simply own the shares of successful companies and you're automatically paid. In this video, I'm going to show you all the dividends that I received for the month of April. And what we're looking at right now, this is my M1 taxable stock brokerage account. We can see the performance over the last year, up over 12%. You can see there's been some peaks and valleys, especially going down in late October 2023, but we've been on a tear ever since late March. We went down and we're making a little bit of a recovery right now, but the all-time highs of this portfolio over $240,000, so we're down over $10,000, and that's okay, because I think over time we're going to keep climbing right up. And we'll take a look at the all-time too for this. You can see where I really started dumping money into this portfolio was in 2022. And we've made a steady rise ever since. Let's take a look at the last month too. And last month we've been down 3.68% because the market in general has been down about that as well. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to show you the actual proof, the actual dividends that I'm receiving. I'm not just going to read them from a spreadsheet and have you just take my word for it. I'm going to actually show you the dividends right here in the activity log of M1, so I really can't fake this. Let's make sure that was the first one for April, and it was. So it's just on the first sheet here. So we'll just start chronologically with Allstate on the first. Had a whole bunch that paid on the first. We'll just read those off. Allstate first at $5.72, then ADP at $3.75, Pepsi at $13.33. We're going to go over with Pepsi. They had a dividend increase announced just the other day, 7%. So we're going to show what that did to my dividend, as well as the income for the portfolio as well. So this $13.33 is going to be going up at least 7%. Coca-Cola up next at $10.49. F&F $8.34. Broadcom $6.30. Union Pacific $4.96. Travelers $4.40. Lockheed Martin $4.53. Kimberly-Clark $11.67. Then on the third, HP $6.21. Merck on the 5th, $8.90. Illinois Tool Works on the 11th, $7.54. Best Buy, $8.70. This will be my last dividend with Best Buy. I decided to part ways with Best Buy and put that money to work for me in another investment. And then, this is a monthly payer, $12.15 on the 15th. Also, Fifth Third and the 15th, $17.24. And then Cisco, $11.41 on the 24th. Oracle $5.13, and then the big dog BST. This is a monthly payer for me, $467.70, and then JP Morgan at $5.87. And let me show you also. I'm going to go back to activity without the. Let's take off that. I just want to show you really quick what I did with those dividends, and I'm a buy and hold investor. And also what I do with this portfolio is any dividends I receive right now, my current strategy is to reinvest those back into the stock from which it was received. So this morning I did a buy with the proceeds from BST, the $467.70, and then the $5.87 for JP Morgan. Let's just take a look at how many shares I picked up with just a drip. So just a drip, I picked up 13.4 additional shares of BST. And it's a monthly pair, like I said before, and it pays 25 cents a share. So 13 extra quarters I get monthly just for that dividend drip. So let's head over to my Google tracking sheet. I'm going to show you everything that's in my portfolio, as well as the count up of what all those dividends were. And we're going to do, actually what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you the increase for Pepsi, the 7% dividend increase that was announced, and also the drips with BST and JP Morgan, what that's going to do to my dividend income. But just going to walk you through this sheet really quick. It shows the company ticker symbol. Share price is pulled up with a simple Google Finance function, so I don't have to look that up. And then the average share price, that's with the VLOOKUP. If you look down below, the M1 data tab to the far right. And we're going to work with that just in a minute. We're going to pull the information from a holdings tab. We're going to copy and paste it essentially in just a few minutes. And then the number of shares, that's also pulled from the M1 data tab. Market value, we have my cost basis. Here's my gain or loss for each position. Not all my positions are winners. You can see there's a couple losers, HP and Starbucks. Starbucks is just getting hammered. I get it. They reported lower earnings and that's scaring some investors away, but I don't think Starbucks is going anywhere. So I think for my Monday buy, I'm going to buy some more Starbucks. I may even get more aggressive because you can take a look at my average share price of Starbucks. It's about $15 lower than the current share price, and I'm long on Starbucks. So we'll see. I may throw some extra money in there than my usual $100 per week. And then here's the percentage gain or loss. You can see the KKR almost doubling my money there. Here is the quarterly dividends, and SCHD is marked in purple because it's variable. Also pays quarterly. I have 2 monthly pairs. Those are in blue. Like I said before, Best Buy was sold, so I'll be deleting that after this video, after I show you all this, but that's why it's marked in yellow. And you can see here's the current yield percentage if you're to buy more shares of each position. And here's the yield on my cost. You can see it's almost double with KKR. You can see, let's take a look, where's Exxon if I can find it. Exxon has a huge disconnect. It pays a nice 3.28%, but look at my yield on cost is at 8.42% because my average share price is much lower than the current share price. So that's why that is so much different. And pay date, this is very important to me because I want to know when I'm going to get paid. And I also like to know how much I'm going to get paid. And you can see here's the totals that I received. These are all the April dividends that paid me. I'm going to do a quick count up. So for the month of April was $595.80. This is a lower paying month for me. The higher paying months are March, June, September, and December because most companies pay their dividends in those months, and I get well over double that usually than this $595. And this will also be the last month, I think, where I'll have a sub $600 dividend per month, even in the low months. You can see here's the total dividends that have been paid out, and look at BST has paid me over $6,000 in dividends since I've held this stock. And another column here is I also track the increase because the stocks I own, at least most of them, increase their dividends year over year, and Pepsi is just one of those that did their 7% increase. So I'm going to change that from, they were 10% last year, which was excellent, and 7% is nothing to sneeze at either. That's also a great dividend in my opinion. So let's do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the links I have in the bottom of the page, and I'm going to pull up the dividend raise that happened for Pepsi. For some reason, Seeking Alpha wasn't showing it. So I'm going to go to dividendinvestor.com, and we're going to pull up Pepsi. It's going to show the new pay dates once it loads up here. We'll put in that ticker symbol of PEP. And it's loading up Pepsi's information. I use Dividend Investor as well as Seeking Alpha to kind of look up and see the new pay dates as well as dividend raises. We can see here the dividend pay date is going to be June 28th, but on my sheet I'm going to put the 29th because M1 has a 1-day delay. So we're going to go put that for Pepsi. There they are. And actually what's going to happen is it's going to change the color that Pepsi is in. Right now they're in April, but they're going to be paying in June, and June is the dark greens on this. And I'll show you the key really quickly. See, we're in April, so we're in the first month of Q2, but they're going to be moving to June, so they're going to be in the last month of Q2 in June. So we're going to change their color too once we sort them out. So dark green for Pepsi. And then the last thing I need to change is the dividend per share. It's no longer the 1.265, it's 1.355. So what's going to change here is right here, the estimated dividend. The last dividend that was paid to me was on, I believe it was April 2nd before I changed it. And it was $13.33. So what I did was I took that $13.33, I dripped it back into Pepsi, and it went up to $13.58. So if there was not a dividend increase, Pepsi would have paid me $13.58 on their next dividend. But with this 7% raise, let's take a look at the $13.58. It's going to become $14.54. So pretty good change there. I mean, I don't own a ton of Pepsi, 10 shares, but now you can see the next time it's going to pay over $1.21. It's going to pay $1.21 more just because of that dividend raise and the drip. So the last step here is I'm going to do is I'm going to sort this, and it's going to push Pepsi down below into the March pairs right here with its new. We're going to delete this out right here. I'm going to change this to white background because we're not yet in June. When I'm in June, I'll change this to the dark green, just like I have the light greens here for the Aprils. You can see all the Mays, those are set to pay, but these are high water marks. So I may have bought some of these after the ex-dividend date, or I may buy some shares after the ex-dividend date. So there will be a little bit of a disconnect with these. So that's why I don't put these values over till I get paid. Sometimes it's the same, sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. So I'm going to get that June 29th dividend from Pepsi for $14.54, and this increased my monthly cash flow average $895.88. So I'm going to put that value in there for the Pepsi dividend increase, $895.88. I like to track progress, so this is why I have this kind of ledger here. And sometimes there is some backpedaling, like when SCHD lowered their dividend for Q1. So $895.88. So by Pepsi raising their dividend by 7%, I'm getting 32 cents more monthly income because of that. Now I'll scroll up and show you what I mean with SCHD. Historically, SCHD announces a lower dividend in Q1 of every year, and Q1 of 2024 is no exception. It went from 74 cents to 61. You can see what that did to my monthly income. But the good news is SCHD historically has also paid larger dividends in Qs 2 and 3, and especially 4 compared to Q1. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I want to get an update from M1 because we haven't accounted for the BST and JP Morgan dividend drips. So the way this portfolio is showing over here, it doesn't have the new number of shares of BST and JP Morgan after that buy. So this is going to further go up. So let's go back to M1. I'm going to grab all this data starting from the name column. I'm just going to do a copy and paste. I'm going to paste this into the M1 data tab. And what the M1 data tab is, it just has one column with all of the data from M1, and then in columns B, C, and D, it just aligns the shares cost to my average cost for each position. Do paste special, values only, and it's only going to change the shares for JP Morgan and BST. But what it's going to do is it's going to give us a new amount now for our monthly cash flow average. Of course, it's adding to the quarterly and annual as well, but I track it on the monthly average dividend tracking tab just to show progress. So we can see we're at $8.99.24. And I'd like to track this income coming from the portfolio monthly because I kind of look at this as a paycheck. Even though right now I'm not drawing from it, I'd like to know what I could draw from it. So the BST JP Morgan dividend drips, that added an additional $3.36 to my monthly dividend income. Let's just take a look real quick what that did. So BST next time now is going to pay me $476 rather than the $467. Of course, some of that is from Best Buy. When I sold Best Buy, I bought BST and I think a little bit of SCHD with it. So that's why that's gone up so much. So it's going to be nice to have $9 additional from BST. JP Morgan, since it was such a small dividend drip, that $5.87, it can't buy close to a share of JP Morgan, so it's only getting a fraction of that $1.15. So it only added 3 cents. But you can see what's happening though is every day I'm dripping in dividends, and also there's dividend raises, and every Monday I'm doing a buy, and the income just keeps going up and up, with the exception of course, the March SCHD, where it's going to be artificially low for a little bit. So I think the last thing I'll show you is the dividend tracker tab, and this shows all the dividends that I've received, by the month. You can see that, and also tracks the portfolio value. When I started doing these videos back in January 2021, here's the starting portfolio value. Here's the first dividends paid to me in January 2021. We're going to scroll down here and get to current times with a $595.80, and you can see here we are at a high at $243,900 at the end of March. So we've gone down about $10,000, but that's kind of part of being invested in the stock market. You're going to have that volatility in there. As long as you believe in the companies you're invested in, you shouldn't have a problem with it. You stick with it and keep investing, keep dollar cost averaging. At least that's what I'm doing. So we can see, like I said, $595.80 is what I received. Here is the closing amount for the average monthly dividend. But you can see in May, we've already added $3.68 to that amount with the BST dividend drips and in JP Morgan, as well as the Pepsi dividend increase. You can see month over month I increased my monthly income by 0.83%. You can see here's the annual dividends in April, and then I added $88.20, and then I did $500 in deposits. There were 5 Mondays, and I do $100 per Monday, so that's the $500. And here we are in May, now at $899.24, so close to the $900. Of course, I was over the $900 mark back in February at $928, and then fell back down because of SCHD. But SCHD, I really believe in it long term. And then the last thing, I said the dividend tracker is the last thing, but let's just take a look at my net worth closing out April. And today we've had a little bit of a rebound from yesterday. We had a few bad days, but we're recovering a little bit. But I have a Vanguard account. I have an IRA over there. Just invested in boring ETFs. I have some bond exposure in ETFs you can see here, but the total stock market index, VTI, or VTSAX, they're kind of the same thing as what I'm invested in. That's where the lion's share of my money is at. Have a little bit of international here. I have a small Roth IRA and also in that international. And then I also have a taxable brokerage account. You can see I'm invested in S&P and some growth in there, VTSAX and VYM and more VXUS. And then here's my 401k, mostly into the S&P 500, a Fidelity index fund there. You can see that's the majority of it. And then over at M1, I have an IRA as well, in VU, VTI, SCHD, and BST, just those four. You can see here, that's my dividend portfolio that I did all the dividends over. I have a small little M1 savings account, testing that out. They're offering 5% right now. We'll see how long that lasts. But the majority of my cash is sitting in Synchrony right now. And here's my balances at Capital One, checkings and savings accounts. I own a home now. Just bought one in February, and here is the value of it. Of course, I have a mortgage. We're going to get to that, and that's going to be one of the liabilities I put against it. Here's my card balance. I just paid that off. We're at zero there. So if you have a credit card, I recommend getting a credit card that has cash back or travel rewards if you're a traveler. And always pay those off every month, never carry a balance. So I paid that in full before it was due. Here is the amount on my mortgage, $182,000. And you can see, here's my net worth, 1.535. So this has been higher. I've been up to like 1.6, right around there. But that was the high water mark, and then came back down. So, but I'm doing pretty well, I think. So let me know in the comments below what your dividends were for April. And one more thing I want to add is I may be doing my buy videos on Tuesdays. My Mondays are just so busy with everything I've got going on with my job and practicing with my band, things like that. And also I do a lot of cycling, so it was just too much on Monday, so I may do it on Tuesdays. We'll see. Let me know in the comments if it even makes a difference to you guys. But thanks for sticking to the end of this video. If you got value from this video, please click the like button. Also subscribe so you do not miss future videos. My next video is going to be on my budgets and just showing my expenses, and also going over my net worth as well. So everybody take care. I hope everyone has a great rest of their week.